Hey everybody. How you doing, Nomad? Good to see you, sir. Gonna kick this series off, even though I am co-hostless again, but I want to give a short introduction into why I named this series what I did. It is a cool story of the beginnings of our country. Hey, Justin. So what this series is going to be about is, hey Kettle, is going to be, you know, current events and dispelling conspiracy theories, working through issues and current events and both America and the world. So I'm gonna play a little video that explains this a little better. I didn't have time to. All right, then. Somebody's jamming. I can't wait out there. General Sal's. Wingspan Angel 2. So this is from a channel, American History Geek. I put the let's see. I shared the video we're going over right now at the very beginning of this stream. So we will. Hey, Jess, Mrs. Metcalf, Linda. So this is the Culper ring. This was Washington's spy ring, Long Island spy ring, anyway.
Hey everyone, Will here. So for today's video, we are going to be analyzing the Culper spy ring. That means we're going to be going over all aspects of this spy network, including the origins of this network, the importance of this network, and the legacy of this spy network. So without further ado, let's begin. So the Culper spy ring was an American spy network that operated in New York City during the Revolutionary War. The Culper spy ring was notable for providing the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army.
Can everybody hear it okay? Yeah, it was called Turn, Washington Spy, Richard. Washington Spies, Richard. Good show.
Army, George Washington, with critical information regarding British troop movements and operations. So the story behind the Culper spy ring begins back in 1776. At this time, General Washington had spent a significant amount of time recruiting spies for dangerous espionage missions. One of these spies was a young colonial army captain named Nathan Hale. Hale traveled to New York City under a false identity in hopes of gathering information on British military plans. Unfortunately, however, due to his relative inexperience and lack of resources, Hale was quickly captured and executed by British forces on September 22, 1776. Nathan Hale's death caused George Washington to feel immense guilt, while also causing him to reassess his methods of espionage. Washington firmly believed that in order to successfully gather intelligence on British operations, the Continental Army would need a highly discreet and well-organized spy network, consisting of a mix of military personnel and average citizens.
You'll notice as well that Washington just throughout the Revolution took lessons learned, real time, reevaluated, and quickly adjusted to turn the failures of the intelligence community he had at the time into successes for the next sets of tries.
Washington believed that these individuals would draw far less attention and suspicion from British forces than Nathan Hale did. In August of 1778, George Washington accepted an offer from Army Lieutenant Caleb Brewster of Norwalk, Connecticut, to provide intelligence reports on British troop movements. Washington then assigned General Charles Scott to oversee Brewster's efforts. As this was happening, Major Benjamin Talmadge was given the role of Director of Military Intelligence for the Continental Army. In his duties, Talmadge was tasked with forming a spy ring in New York City, which was at the center of British operations. Talmadge took extreme precautions to ensure that the network would remain a secret. Even George Washington did not know who all of the members of the spy ring were. In order to uphold secrecy within the spy ring, Benjamin Talmadge only recruited people whom he could invest complete trust in. One of these individuals was a childhood friend of Talmadge's named Abraham Woodhull. Woodhull operated under the code name of Samuel Culper Sr. Woodhull was tasked with overseeing the network's day-to-day operations in Long Island.
What's up, Trump said. We're just learning about early American spy networks and stuff. Just kind of explaining my my titles.
Woodhull was also notable for traveling to New York City to occasionally gather intelligence. Because Woodhull's sister, Mary Underhill, lived in the city, Woodhull was able to consistently pass British checkpoints without raising too much suspicion. In November of 1778, Abraham Woodhull proved his worth as a spy when he provided a precise report on the number and disposition of British troops in New York City. Shortly after this, Woodhull recruited his brother-in-law, Amos Underhill, to gather intelligence as well. However, Underhill's reports were typically considered to be too vague to hold substantial value to them. Originally, Caleb Brewster was assigned with delivering messages between Benjamin Talmadge and Abraham Woodhull. In December of 1778, Talmadge reorganized his methods of communication when he assigned couriers like Jonas Hawkins and Austin Rowe to relay messages between Woodhull and Brewster. From here, Brewster would pick up the messages at one of 6 secluded coves near Setauket. Brewster would then cross the Long Island Sound in his rotating whale boat and deliver the letters to Talmadge. After that, Talmadge would take the letters to Washington's headquarters in upstate New York. In January of 1779, Talmadge chose to once again reorganize his methods of delivery when he assigned express riders to take messages from himself to George Washington. This was done to further streamline time efficiency in the delivery of messages.
So, hey, Melissa. So again, changing your methods to better streamline the processes and to get the information quicker.
Among this team of brave men, there was also a courageous woman who was reported to be a member of the spy ring. Most prominent historians believe that Anna Strong, a resident of Setauket, Long Island, and a friend of Abraham Woodhull, was also a pivotal spy for General Washington. Strong reportedly developed a foolproof signal for delivering intelligence reports to George Washington. Anna Strong reportedly hung a black petticoat on her clothesline to indicate that Brewster was in town. Simultaneously, a quantity of white handkerchiefs were also reportedly hung to show which of the 6 coves Brewster was located at. According to the National Women's History Museum, because Anna Strong was a woman, she was severely underestimated by British forces in her ability to be a spy. This in turn made her a crucial member of the spy ring, since she was able to largely avoid suspicion that she was engaging in espionage missions. As messages were being delivered, Caleb Brewster would oftentimes add his own messages to the Culper reports. Brewster would often provide information on British naval ships that were being built in New York City. In one of his most important findings, Brewster was able to warn George Washington about privateers that were being outfitted by Loyalists for operations on the Long Island Sound. In May and June of 1779, Abraham Woodhull began to report less information on British intel in fear of being caught. A Long Island privateer named John Woolsey was pivotal in making the British suspicious of Woodhull's true loyalties. On June 5th, Woolsey told British forces that Woodhull was engaging in highly suspicious activity in order to secure parole for himself. Reacting to this news, Colonel John Graves Simcoe traveled to Setauket with the elite Queen's Rangers in search for Woodhull. Fortunately for Woodhull, he happened to be in New York City at the time. Unfortunately for Woodhull, however, the Queen's Rangers beat up Woodhull's father, Judge Richard Woodhull. When Abraham Woodhull returned to his hometown, he narrowly managed to resist arrest thanks to Loyalist Captain Benjamin Floyd, a distant relative of Woodhull's who vouched on his behalf. At this time, Woodhull began to communicate less with the members of the Culper spy ring. Because of this, George Washington sent a letter to Benjamin Talmadge recommending that George Higday fulfill Woodhull's duties as a spy. This letter was later intercepted by British forces who correctly asserted that Talmadge was in charge of Washington's chief intelligence operations. On July 2, 1779, Talmadge's camp was attacked by British forces. Although the British soldiers failed to capture Talmadge, they did find a letter that revealed that one of Washington's spies was residing in New York City. The increasing amount of suspicion surrounding Woodhull therefore caused the Culper spy ring to add a less conspicuous member to their ranks, a man named Robert Townsend. Robert Townsend, who operated under the code name of Samuel Culper Jr., was a critical informant for the Culper spy ring. Townsend posed as a Loyalist coffee shop owner and merchant while working as a society journalist. Townsend managed to largely avoid British scrutiny by writing a column in a Loyalist newspaper, giving him the appearance of being a staunch British Loyalist. As a journalist and reporter, Townsend was granted exclusive access to society gatherings, which allowed him to have regular interactions with British military.
See, reporters being in the intelligence community is a long-held tradition. Our intel community members working as journalists. It's a long-standing tradition. So, in my title, the Culper spy ring, and then you have Culper Jr. and 733. 733 was how he was identified on reports that went up to Washington. It'll get into the workbooks and everything. It's a sources and methods thing.
Officers. When Robert Townsend began gathering intelligence out of New York City, Abraham Woodhull began to operate exclusively out of Setauket. This caused the group to make serious revisions to their delivery methods. With the group's new communication network, Robert Townsend would pass information to Austin Rowe. Rowe would then transport the intelligence to Setauket, passing it to Woodhull in a box, which was hidden in a field that Austin Rowe rented from Woodhull. From here, Woodhull would pass the information to Caleb Brewster, who would then take it across the Long Island Sound, bringing it to Talmadge. Finally, Talmadge would add cover letters to the intelligence reports before sending them off to dragoons, who would act as couriers, transporting the intelligence reports to George Washington. In order to safeguard the identities of the spies in Washington's ring, Benjamin Talmadge utilized a numeric substitution system to identify informants and special locations without spelling them out by name. A grand total of 763 numbers were used for this numeric system. Some important numbers that were decoded include 711, which denoted George Washington, 745, which denoted England, and 727, which denoted New York. By July of 1779, Talmadge had completed writing a series of pocket dictionaries which listed verbs, nouns, people, and places with corresponding code numbers. These dictionaries were given to George Washington, Abraham Woodhull, Robert Townsend, and Benjamin Talmadge for safekeeping. Additionally, the Culper spy ring was notable for using invisible ink to better conceal the content of intelligence reports. Invisible ink that was used during the Revolutionary War usually consisted of a mixture of ferrous sulfate and water. Additionally, the secret writings were typically placed between the letters of a note. These secret writings could be discerned through the use of heat and specific types of chemical substances. Overall, the Culper spy ring had a big impact on the outcome of the Revolutionary War. It also holds the distinction of being one of the first successful American intelligence networks that was established in the formative years of the United States of America. Thank you for checking out our video. If you enjoyed
So yeah, that's that was Washington's genius of using spy networks. It didn't get too in depth, and you won't get 100% in depth into it. Some sources and methods are actually still used today, so you won't hear about them. Trump. That doctors, diplomats, bankers, oil executives. I mean, aerospace executives, so on and so forth. Full-on aerospace companies. Questions, comments. This was just a short one today. The snow is kind of put a hamper on my guest host's schedule, which is fine. I get it. Family first. So yeah, well, never mind. I won't say what I was thinking. Give something away. But we can keep doing stories like this if we don't have current events and stuff to cover. My analysis still remains the same on the Vegas bombing. Um, it was I haven't read anything today to change my mind that it was a guy with PTSD, TBI, and other demons that he was dealing with, and just made a show. So I'm going to leave this one here about 21 minutes. And we have a 7:45 scheduled over here tonight with the Hills Pirate Studios. So I'll try to keep everybody updated. It is on. What was that? Does anybody remember? Nomad, if you're still here. No, you're good, Trump. It was all within the show. I think it was on what have we done 4 or 5, Mrs. Metcalf. I went over Valhalla VFT's video on it. So I think I'm only at 1,100 hours, Mrs. Metcalf, but that's as of January 5th, I think. So I still have a little bit to go. But Jeff and doing Hills Pirate stuff once or twice a week is going to help. So, yeah, I'll look and see which one it was, Mrs. Metcalf, and I'll share it with you. So, all right, y'all. Y'all have a good Saturday. I have to go to the grocery store. Yay me. So, I will see y'all in a little bit.